Gil at CloseCallSports.com. We're going to talk about two different elements of this play. It's a play at second base. Take a look. All right, so we have a ground ball to right field, a little helter-skelter, and then the runner goes into second. Bill Mueller calls him out. The runner starts arguing with Miller, also argues with Cleveland, pushes them. Then it's 2-on-1, which begets 3-on-1, then 4-on-1, which means the benches have to clear, and we have all sorts of fun. So there are two elements of this play we will discuss. The first one is going to be the rule, specifically the rule about was the runner safe at second, was the runner out at second, and why is that? And then the second one is the unsportsmanlike conduct incident that occurred afterward. So as we go back into it, the one thing that I want to do is bring up the rule. So we talk about, this comes up every so often, does the forced off a base issue. And the last time we discussed a force off the base issue was the 2020 World Series. Max Muncy, Willie Adames, there was a play at second base. Mark Carlson called the runner out, and we looked at, well, should he have been called safe because he was forced off the base? There are two rules involved. The first one is the definition of oversliding, which is the act of an offensive player when his slide to a base other than when advancing from home to first base is with such momentum that he loses contact with the base. And the second is actually an interpretation that states if in the judgment of an umpire a runner is pushed or forced off a base by a fielder intentionally or unintentionally, at which the runner would have otherwise been called safe, the umpire has the authority and discretion under the circumstances to return the runner to the base he was forced off following the conclusion of the play. So, with all that said, as we review this play that just occurred, we have some questions. Has the runner's slide left him with momentum into the base? Does he have body control that would enable him to stay on the base without the actions of the fielder? Did the fielder exert his own momentum on the runner to cause the runner to break contact with the base? Who initiated the bulk of the contact? And who initiated, in my opinion, it's always going to be the runner when a runner is sliding into a base. But the question is, did the fielder do something on top of that to cause the runner to be forced off the base? My view on this play, looking at it, is that the runner appeared to have body control, appeared to come to rest on the base, and appeared to only break contact with the base because the fielder's leg went up in the air, which physically caused the runner's left arm to move. Tmac, I know you have a little bit of a different take on this.
Yeah, I'm like the only person so far that I've talked to that has no problem with this out call. This is a very awkward slide, and this is part and parcel to replay, right? So what does this have to do with replay? Well, in my opinion, we used to get a lot of feet first slides. A play like this, you just go in hard feet first. But the problem is with those slides, what happens feet first? Does your leg hit the front of the base? Does it pop up? So now everything is a hands first slide. So this complicates the play. It's very awkward. He slides in between. He's got the fielder's left leg is in between his hands. So as he's making the tag, if you really break it down slowly frame by frame, you can see that his fingertips are starting to come off the base before the fielder's left leg is helping him come off the base. So in my opinion, he was already moving in that direction before the fielder helped him. Now, would he have come off the base? I mean, this slide he's sliding on top of his leg. I mean, there has to be some common sense here. Again, this is a really hard call, but I don't have any problem with calling this guy out. But I do think you have to throw out 42.
Yes, at the end of the day, at the lower level on this unsportsmanlike conduct element, 42 has to go. But what I want to say on the slide is, if we look at Bill Miller's angle, he's taking the play from the outside looking in, the outfield side looking in. There is no way he can possibly see the interaction on the other side of the body. The fielder's blocking him out. The runner's blocking him out. So whether he calls him safe or out, there is no way the umpire can actually see it, which begets my next question. Why isn't this reviewable?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything will be reviewable someday. I think somebody wrote about that a while ago. I mean, I just think the more things you make reviewable, the less disasters you can have. We've talked about balls off the feet of batters, sharp and direct. Why can't plays be fair, foul, reviewable around the plate on really tough calls where the umpire might be screened? Really, the way Major League Baseball has done things as far as instant replay goes, as everybody knows, does not make a lot of sense. So it's really not worth our time trying to figure it out. However, on this particular play, I just have no problem with the out call. When we broke it down frame by frame and I started to see his hand coming off before the fielder was helping off right here, If you look at it really slowly, you could see that his hand is just coming off the base. Now it's starting to be helped off. So, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it per se. And I think that this might be a call that is 50-50. There might be a lot of umpires. And the other part about this play, Gil, it's so hard to call a force off the base on a really close play when momentum and the tag are all coming at the same time.
I definitely agree. I thought that in real time, the broadcasters convinced me that, oh yeah, it's obvious he got pushed off, but slowing it down, the slower you go, the tougher it gets. And so we talked about how replay has had its fair share of embarrassments with call stands recently. This could be another call stands. Just saying. If we move on to the unsportsmanlike part of the play, what I initially thought was, why doesn't Bill Miller get between them immediately? Like when it's still one-on-one. When it's one-on-two, you're outnumbered and totally makes sense to back off. But when it's one-on-one, get between them. But then I noticed something. And I noticed that Eaton, even though he was engaged with the Cleveland players, was still arguing with Bill Miller. So we get this perception PR nightmare that, oh, a player is arguing with an umpire and the umpire's trying to explain what the call was. If the umpire comes in there, the umpire is now the aggressor. So we're darned if you do, darned if you don't. If you get in there and you try to break up a bench clearing brawl, and it's baseball brawl, so there are no punches obviously, but if you try to come in there and you try to break things up, then it turns into, well, the player's arguing with you, so you just advanced on a player who is arguing with you, so you're the aggressor in the argument, and so you're inciting Eaton or whomever to do worse. So I completely, having seen this a second time, understand Miller's hesitancy in trying to get involved in it, because Eaton, even though he's engaged with the Cleveland, is still arguing with Bill Miller passionately about this call.
And according to the Cleveland feed, which I know we both saw, Eaton bunted in a weird spot yesterday, I guess. And I guess that was the no-hitter game, right? So he bunted and then he got hit in his next at bat. So there might be more to it. But, we also have to look at the hardness of the tag. I mean, you're trying to, with momentum, tag that guy quickly. So, short of really just knocking the guy out, you have to allow these guys to tag hard. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to retire the runner. There might be a little bit more of an emphasis to hitting Eaton after he apparently bunted in that odd spot yesterday. So, there might be a little more to the story from a personal standpoint between the Indians and the White Sox. It's another series. It's a rivalry anyway, right? So it's another two teams that we'll be watching all year.
Yep. And with that, we invite you to join us on closecallsports.com, Twitter and Facebook at closecallsports. For Tmac, it's Gil, and we'll see you on the site.